And we're live, quarter live critics. Woo, woo,
Hey,
woo. Today is June 12th. Wow. June
I keep on
12th.
thinking it's like June 6th, like the past week. I'm like, today's June 6th. Wake
I
up
think
the
it's
next
like
day. I'm like,
April.
it's June 6th.
6
Really?
6.
Yeah, no, I'm in a chronic state of the world people say time flies. I feel it every day. I feel just days like vanish. So I'm working on not having that happen. And one way I'm doing that right now is being in the present today with my two best friends, Grant
Hello.
and Patrick.
Hello.
We are Quarter Life Critics, the only show where we review the best TV and film the world has to offer.
The only, literally, if you go and try to find another show that
With
does
us,
movie and TV reviews, you will not find it.
You're not going to
one
find
of
it
one,
indeed.
baby.
Not
One
it.
of one.
One spelled in a
Which is
certain
why
way.
we're so
W-U-N.
popular.
That's right. And as you know, on every episode, we have a special director to guide us through our riveting deep dive media exploration of TV or film. You never know what it's going to be.
I have a question.
Yes,
Is it
Grant.
you? Are you the director?
How did you know he was going to say director?
That was a good question. Damn it. I am not the director today. Today, the director for our very special 33rd episode is the one, the only, Patrick Manning. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need my soundboard back. So, Pat, why don't you take it away? Tell us what we're doing today.
Today we are looking at Zac Efron's jaw through a movie. We're checking out The Iron Claw, which is curious about, had come out last year, had an interesting cast of, attractive bad boys, potentially getting soft. But I just thought it'd be a good pick. You mix it up a little bit, get something a little more current. We've been kind of going through a little bit of the old ones or older movies. My last couple picks. So just wanted something a little more recent and connected to something that I had no idea what was about. Cool. How would you guys let's let people get what are we talking about, Grant?
The Iron Claw, made in 2023, starring the one and only High School Musical star, Zac Efron. We have Jeremy Allen White, and Harris Dickinson, and it surrounds. The movie is about the true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers, which is their performing names. That's not their real last name. Who made history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Awards. I don't see. Let me see awards on here. Well, it was the IMDb was 7.6 out of 10. With 70,000, that's not a lot of votes. I saw. No. I don't know about you guys. I saw this film everywhere. It felt like when it came out. Like I saw a lot of advertisements for this, but I'm kind of surprised it has that low.
I was too.
Of reviews on IMDb. Let's see really quick. It has 3 wins and 37 nominations. It won the National Board of Review.
Oh, Kim. Just won it.
Just won that. Well, it was the winner of the best ensemble and top films.
Oh, it won top films.
Top films.
Nice.
But it was a plural though. There's an S on that.
Oh, maybe some other films won.
Top films.
Right.
Yeah,
it was a shared award, like a committee.
I think it was pretty. I don't want to say critically acclaimed. I think it brought this story into the spotlight a bit. I think this is a famous story and a famous family if you know wrestling, but I think most mainstream audiences do not know anything about the Von Erich brothers and really the Von Erich family and the curse of the Von Erich family, which I won't go to. I'll pass to Patrick.
Cool. Yeah, this was a sad movie. I hope we could all agree at that. There are some tragic things, and this movie and the story that the people that it talks about are kind of the basis for like the family curse in like American mythology. There's some they have horrible luck. I don't know which brother you guys felt had the worst draw, but none of them were very good. They were all pretty rough at the end of it. So in real life, well, did you guys kind of read into it after? Let me ask that.
Yeah, I think in any film, especially, well, first I was, bringing it back to our last pick, Fargo.
I know, it was so
they
funny.
Lied to me. I said, it's just really a true story.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the words they used too were inspired by a true story. It was very simple and just, all right, well, this is what we're basing it off of. But yeah, I always kind of at least do a couple searches on like
before you start.
No. After
this is before.
This is
that's crazy.
Post viewing.
Yeah, I do as well. But just Grant, did you check it out?
Yeah, I went through a little rabbit hole afterwards, just because it's so it's a sad, traumatic movie, and you're like, what the fuck? I think there's some discrepancies that we can talk about that they left out in the movie.
Yeah, it's like even worse in real life.
Yeah, there's another son.
And one of them has like a dead infant.
Yeah, like he killed himself. I don't know. There's a lot of so I mean I'm sure we'll get into it, but what this was watched by me and my girlfriend on Sunday night. You got like the Sunday scaries a little bit, and you're watching this, and I'm like, this. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the film, but man, it didn't help with the Sunday scaries. I'll tell you that. I was just sad.
You're just filled with dread. You're going to like when they introduced the gun at Christmas, I was like thinking like one of the kids was gonna kill themselves or like accidentally shoot themselves. You just don't know how bad it's gonna get because it's just horrible. So for
what is that? What is that called? Chekhov's gun is I think the film term where or maybe I think it's just a writing term. It's like once something is introduced, like it's gonna have a purpose, and so they, I think, heavy-handedly focused on the gun, which did a good job, right? Like it built that suspense in that scene, and then eventually it did come back and was used.
I don't know if it was like necessary that much. I know they took some creative liberties with some things, but I'm guessing in real life it wasn't the gun he gifted his dad.
I think it was
during a Christmas party. You think so? We could all.
We can fact
that.
check
Which brother that was that? That was Carrie.
Carrie, yeah.
Christmas gift, dad.
Maybe not though, but
it makes for a cool story. And I will say that is probably my biggest complaint is like there's so much tragedy and character arcs for everybody, and things are moving very quickly, and I think there's a lot in there that maybe didn't get the attention that it needed.
And they cut a whole brother out.
Yeah, he was feeling ignored and killed himself. Like he didn't even make it to the film, dude. Like what?
Yeah, they cut out the brittle boned small wrestler who loved it so much his bones would break until he, committed suicide because he couldn't follow his dreams. Like that was a brother who wasn't his story wasn't compelling enough to make it into the family thing.
I mean, for the
crazy.
movie, it was probably good. I mean, there's
I
too many
agree.
people. I mean, they can't have another person in there.
No, they can't. It was, you want to know more about what's going on. So
It's
did you
just
guys?
it's just even more tragic though. What was that, like 5 of his 6 sons died then, and 3 killed themselves.
Exactly.
And from what I read too is what's his name? David, who was in, he, like, they suspected that was suicide as well through overdose of pills. Because they were flushing pills down the toilet when the cops came in Tokyo, and it was kind of a cover up. So that would be 4 out of his 6 sons died of suicide, and 1 died when they were like 6 accidentally.
Freak
so
accident.
that'd be pretty much every son you have is killing themselves because of you, essentially. And only 1 survived. So it's pretty brutal of a film. I agree. They probably don't need the 6th one, but it's I wish they maybe the overdosing on pills. I think they maybe referenced that the brothers were drug users, but it seemed like it was just like an accident when he died, because they had like the foreshadowing of him like vomiting blood at the wedding, but it seemed like it wasn't just a medical intestinal issue, it was an overdose. But I think that's still debated, so maybe they didn't want any controversial.
I think it matches like real life, where they kind of played into it, but then this is the official cause of death, and I don't know, it doesn't matter that much, he's dead, but
you'll never really know, so it's just like both options are
compounding.
But yeah, it's pretty fucked. So self-fulfilling prophecy, boys, what do you think? Was did the fact that Kevin was so aware of the curse and involved with the curse, did that make these things come about?
I don't think so. I think I don't think there was a curse on. I think their father was a piece of shit.
I agree.
Yeah. So, and you saw that with Pam was very much like there is no curse, but I can see how it affects you. I know Kevin for a while was literally staying away from them because he thought the curse would kill them, his family, his wife and child. But no, I mean, the curse isn't real, but believing in that, I think, they highlighted it in the movie with Carrie, is when you're down in the dumps and you're depressed and your father fucking sucks and you're doing drugs and you're not ever enough for your dad and you have no purpose in life. And I know Carrie went through like a divorce with his, in real life. I don't think they really went over that in the movie, but he was really in a bad place at 33. And then you feel, if you're already in a bad place and then you think about your family tragedy and a curse, and people have always said there's a curse growing up, you might, that adds to your mental illness, I'm sure. Like it adds to maybe your suicidal tendencies if you believe this is destined for you. So yes and no. I mean, it's not a real curse, but I'm sure it added to their mental health issues. Being told you're cursed your whole life cannot help your mental health.
Yeah, especially if you're like for Carrie, he was the second last brother alive. Like once it starts getting down to the, you're seeing what's happening, like can't imagine the weight of all that on you.
Yeah.
When you're like tweaking in the hotel room alone and you don't have any skills, and the one thing that you were...
Where's Tanya?
Yeah. Who the hell is that? You literally have nothing.
Your foot. from a fucking that. I mean, that's got to be brutal too. You're addicted to painkillers and you lost your foot,
And it's my fault.
Did you guys see what the real life Kevin Von Erich had to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna
About the
add,
curse.
just to quickly add to
Sort
the
of, yeah.
foot discrepancy injury.
Yeah.
It wasn't through a motorcycle accident. Allegedly, yeah, it wasn't. It was through like he had broken his ankle a few times and just kept on taking painkillers and just wrestling through the pain, and then it got so bad to the point that he had to amputate his leg. So even worse, even more.
I think it came from a motorcycle accident originally, like the foot problems. Like that's why he was.
Really?
Yeah.
But he just broke his foot. I'll look into that.
On Wikipedia, it says he was involved in a motorcycle accident that resulted in the amputation of his right foot. I don't know.
I think it started with. I think the truth here is, it started with some injury, and then he keep pushing it, and didn't let it recover or something like that, which ended up resulting in amputation.
It's fucked.
So, and it happened a couple years after. It wasn't like day after you win the win the title. They kind of did a little time skip there.
Yeah.
They're like, just can't get off this high.
Yeah.
But what a quote from the OG Kevin Von Erich, who gave the film his blessing to make this happen. I think the general consensus is that, sorry, this isn't the quote, but that Fritz was, not the best parent, but he kind of comes out still in defense of his father. And he has a quote here that I'll jump around. People to know that it's a movie. It's made for entertainment. It's not quite as historical, but I'll tell you, my dad was a great man, an honorable, good man. Blah, 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 blah. You would think that the pressure that Fritz put on us is why my brothers would commit suicide. I mean, why would anyone commit suicide? That is so far beyond me, but it's drugs. Drugs did it. That and the fact that Kerry lost his foot and wouldn't be able to come back. Mike with that fever, he was not coming back. It was just a hopeless feeling inside to let everyone down, and you feel like dirt. All my brothers were super loyal, and that's what it was, the shame and guilt for failing, not my dad. It was not my dad. So, it's probably a little Kevin.
Wow.
In real life.
I could kind of get that from the tone of the movie. Like, I feel like there wasn't a lot of blame. That wasn't the angle of, like, they showed, like, the negative side and, like, let you draw your own conclusions. But, like they never, he, like, defended his dad, the character of Kevin in the movie.
Yeah, no one's resentful. I mean, maybe Kevin is a little at the end, but it's more of just a family structure going on, and there's a lot of loyalty and
okay, yeah. I mean, but he's a piece of shit father. Like, I mean, as much as maybe you're not, maybe he's come to terms and he's not blaming his dad from the actions we've seen is like horrible for kids, and horrible, like the fact that they're pushing themselves when they shouldn't, and wrestling is their complete life. Like that I'm sure comes from their dad, and a better parental figure would say wrestling doesn't your health matters more than wrestling. And my understanding, and
you're never gonna get that belt, Grant.
He was obsessed with wrestling to an unhealthy degree, and I think that we would be kidding ourselves if that didn't put a strain on these kids' lives. Like, I think it completely was a huge role, I think, in their mental health and them becoming addicted to drugs, right? Especially Kerry, painkillers, was because he was pushing himself to fucking fight with an amputated foot. What? Don't stop wrestling. Why are you going back in the ring? Like,
Mike was wrestling,
and that was and I would imagine, you know, they love wrestling and it's their life, but if you had a father
love
who
their
said,
dad too.
yeah, if you had, yeah, I know, but you know, if you had a father who said you have an amputated foot, it's fine. I still love you. You're okay. But I have a hard time believing he said that. I would imagine him saying, yeah, you gotta be stronger and harder, and then you'll be safe. You know, I think his mantras like that, and they repeated that a lot, like if you're strong enough, you know, and you work hard enough, you're safe, you're always enough, like that. They pushed themselves to the brink where 3 of them killed themselves. Like, I understand that's good work ethic, but you also need to have grace with yourself, and that seems like something that their dad did not teach, to be able to forgive yourself. And there's nothing wrong with not being a world, you know, class wrestler. You're still an important person, and you can live whatever life you want.
Yeah, it makes it worse that I mean, it's wrestling too. I just don't. You can somehow rationalize it, and there's some other movies made where parents are pushing superstar athletes. Like, there's a clear connection. Like, I mean, Kevin tried to explain it in the beginning. He's like, you're getting a promotion, you're doing better, but I don't know, you know, what is going behind those closed doors to make someone a champion, a heavyweight champion of the world. So, I mean, you can work your ass off forever, but it seems like it's maybe a bit more red tape, politics, connections going on. Like,
yeah,
well, maybe that's like,
even if there's skill involved, the result of each match at the very
like the
least
number one
is
person
predetermined. Yeah, like the
is,
result of the match before it starts is predetermined.
that's
like,
a reflection of the dad though, because he's like, I can pull the strings to get you. Like, it's like almost a reflection of your agent, you know. And he's running a competition, so if he can have the person who's the world heavyweight champion, then it's like, I have the best show.
I also left off his character was a Nazi.
Like, as his role,
yeah,
that was the Nazi heel.
yeah. Well, one thing to add too, I saw that I think a more nuanced take on the father too. I don't know if this was from Kevin. It's coming back. Was just talking about how he was a miserable person ever since his son died when he was 6, and so they just said that he, you know, was just miserable and he took it out on others, you know. And I think there's a lot of forgiveness there. I think they come to terms, you know, he's a product of his environment, but yeah, he was not a happy-go-lucky dude. He was a miserable piece of shit and treated his close ones like that, you know.
Not a recipe for success.
I was expecting some boys shit, like the Boys TV show with when he was Kev was having a mental break and just kept on clawing,
explode his head.
Head would, pop off.
Yeah, that was his
Ric
hair was
Flair.
kind of messed up. That was
bloody.
bloody.
Are we going to talk about Zac Efron's body?
Quinn, what did you notice? What do you mean? I didn't. His body was in the movie?
I mean, this guy, people have gotten jacked for roles. I don't think I've seen this level of
trend.
Performance enhancing.
What do you mean? It's hard work, good diet, and work ethic.
I went down a mini rabbit hole, and I was like, no one's really talking about it that much. I mean, but he has to be on some.
Yeah, he's brought it up.
He's trend out, dude.
He's so much. You can tell. I mean, he's got the look.
Gut.
But also reading about and maybe this was just to cover it up or make people think that he was just hard work. But reading his co-stars were like, yeah, dude, Zach's a fucking maniac. Like he went so hard. Like he was working out like crazy, like for this. So I'm sure, but like if you're on trend and shit, like that literally all you want to do is like work out. Like that's a benefit of steroids.
You have your performance enhanced.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm so fucking strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also have the energy. You're like, I
Yeah.
gotta fucking go. Let's do it.
I remember back to a conversation. Grant, I don't know if you remember this. We had a conversation a long time ago. I think it was in high school. I think we were talking about because Grant and I were both in theater, doing some theater, dancing around, acting around, and we were talking about kind of like actors and like taking roles and like what you would do as an actor. And for some reason, it always sticks out in my head where me and Grant had a big debate. I don't know if you remember this, where we were talking about Zac Efron. This was peak High School Musical, and we were talking about if you were an actor, you're trying to be an aspiring actor, would you take the lead role in High School Musical? And do you remember your stance, Grant, at all?
I can assume that I probably said no, like don't take the role. But I would think that it's reasonable to take the role, right?
I think
in hindsight.
Yeah, in hindsight.
My
edgy, like you gotta be pure. It's not pure for the sport. Like it's a sellout. Yeah,
it's imprinted in my brain where Grant's like, it's High School Musical. Like you're always gonna be known as like that musical guy.
Yeah, he will. I mean, he is.
I think he's done a good job branching out. People still kind of relate it, but I don't know. It just comes to mind every time I go. I see Zac Efron, I see Grant.
Also at the time, if we had known, like if someone said, "Oh, High School Musical," and here's the check, like that might have swayed me.
No.
I don't know.
You were concerned about money at the time.
That's true. But
this was your romantic
Daniel Day-Lewis.
When I have him,
not like Daniel Day-Lewis. I think that probably brought up Daniel Day-Lewis.
Probably.
Would he ever take
method
that role?
acting?
No,
he wouldn't though. But he's also success. Like you don't have to. It was Zac Efron's breakout role. It's not like he's selling out in as much. Like at least how I see it now. It's not like he's selling out. He's like breaking in. Like this is how he gets his.
You get your foot in the door,
bank, and now you're set for life, and you can really choose to only do.
Only I had a time machine.
No, it's fine. This is a good. It's a good arc.
I just think
this is why we do theater for good character development.
Grant's got a great character.
Well, it's always getting better.
Yeah,
always. There's always an arc.
So I'm just trying to get as jacked as Zac Efron. Actually, I'll take Carrie. I think Carrie's good. It's obtainable.
Yeah, Zac Efron's a little. He's definitely wrote it up.
He was barrel gut.
Yeah, is it organs? Not muscles aren't the only thing that grew. Organs did too. That's like always a giveaway. Is the bloated organs.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
No, yeah. If you look at
I've never seen a guy like that in real life.
You'll know, like if you look at professional bodybuilders, that is like the bloated gut is because a lot of steroids, they actually increase the size of your organs. So then you're just bloated because your organs have grown too much. Like they don't really fit your body anymore. So
yeah, it's when you add HGH, which is human growth hormone.
Oh, is that what it is?
So yeah, that's like the HGH gut. But yeah, it's really human growth hormone grows everything. And that's why you get like big heads too.
Yeah, his jaw is really weird.
Yeah, that's like all weird. Like he says he completely shattered his jaw and almost died, and it had to be completely restructured. But some people think it's like plastic surgery that was like a bad job. But no one. He said he like
Yeah.
almost died, like falling like a granite counter or something. Who
You
knows?
never know what these stars are up to.
You don't.
Yeah,
you
but
don't.
right, like maybe I mean, but that was before because I remember looking that up. Like that was before he had like this jaw thing, and I was like, "What?
No, it was the same
What's-
time.
Really?
Yeah, it was like that was his story. That was like his PR explanation for like what happened.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. He had it like completely restructured because of like a life-threatening accident.
I thought he did a great job though, acting wise.
I did too.
I
I was
did
with
too.
him the whole time. So sad.
Kind of got that dumb.
So
turned into
dumb,
some
dude.
Dumb wrestler.
Even just like he was staying away from his family because he didn't want to give them the curse. That's like a lovable dumb moment. You're like, you're so stupid,
You're so
but that's
dumb.
sweet.
Well, Pam stuck with him.
They stuck with
I
each
thought
other.
that was. I like their little storyline.
Mm-hmm.
They sped that
From the
up
start.
real fast.
They did.
They are like, wasn't
The
he
marriage
married
got
before
really
or
fast.
something?
Yeah,
Because of the baby. No, that was David.
No.
Sorry,
Yeah, no, I don't think
David didn't have a baby.
David
He
was
was the
married.
David's
No.
baby died in infancy, and then he committed the drug overdose
He
shortly
got
after.
married. Yeah, I mean they excluded his. He was married twice.
And the
Divorced.
second one
Gary was
ended with
married. Gary
the
was
infant
married.
dying.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think each person. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you do it. It's a messy thing. You don't want to go into everyone's divorce and backstory, but it's a tough decision to cut stuff out.
Yeah. Do we want to see some hot men, some oiled up daddies?
I would like to. Pick me.
Grant,
Let's do it.
let's do it. All right.
Let's get saucy.
Is this a new segment, Pat?
This is a new segment.
What is the name? Oh, coolest
Wrestling move. All right. Look at this dude. Look at this hot guy. Great haircuts, everyone.
Yeah, I think we're leaving off the sound so they don't come after us. It's a really
Yes.
new movie. But all right, I'll describe what's going on.
So Ric
They're in the
Flair
ring.
doesn't come after you.
Oh, he's getting sworn by fans,
Oh!
Kevin. Oh, and he's coming from up top.
Speaking of that HGH guy.
Oh my god. All right,
Go on,
this is the
Eric.
clip I put in. I love anything that people are jumping from the ring or whatever the corners come from the top, as they say. I think
So
that's
this shot does
that's
it for you?
cool. It does. It really does. I don't even know how they like think it. Because I mean, if you're
They've trained
jumping on someone,
They train.
I know they like.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I just don't know how you turn
you
like move the energy somewhere else.
You just land on the mat over them.
Don't you have to land on them? Like, where's
No,
the
you kinda,
what are you
put,
hitting?
Like your elbows, I think, go around them. Like, watch this. Play it.
Oh, slow mo. It's like frog jumping.
They
on
like
him.
catch each other.
Dude, he gets
Yeah,
so
he's
high.
jumping up to hold it.
Yeah,
And they catch each other.
I
And
see.
then look how his arm's gonna be.
Yeah.
And then the
both in
ring
that.
bounces.
Yeah, see, and then he kind of just falls.
Except to
and
get
the guy's
thrown on
like,
concrete.
yeah.
I guess it skips there, but yeah. I'm wondering. This is when whose shoes are those? Are those Kevin's?
Carries.
Oh,
This is like the
those-
montage, I think. of
Yeah,
all
the
the
three.
brothers.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one does it for me. I'm sufficiently satisfied.
Cool.
Well, since I didn't pick a specific one,
Describe
guess
it to us, Grant.
the classic,
Pile
the
driver.
name, the self-titled
Clothesline.
move. Yes, the claw, the iron claw, which was, that was like their signature move with a squeeze on the temples, especially when it was Kevin, Ric Flair, and he was like had a mental like psychotic break, and he's like all bloodied up after it. Looks like he's gonna blow his head off. That was pretty good.
Yeah, you could feel him losing control.
Did you know
Yeah.
of this signature move? Did you know of the Von Erichs beforehand?
No,
Did not
I
either.
had
I
no
know
idea.
Rick. I know Ric Flair.
I know Ric Flair.
They did actually sell to the WWE, so I know the WWE.
Yeah, with WWF beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Then they changed the name. I know. I think I've heard of Harley Race. I feel like that was,
Not familiar.
at least in my vocabulary. And who's the other? Not Ric Flair, but the other guy. Drawing a blank. Hulk Hogan.
Hulk
Oh,
Hogan.
yeah.
That guy's.
He's
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's a couple other.
The Miz.
Not familiar with that one.
Uh,
All right, let's see what clip I put in here.
Logan Paul.
Oh yeah, he's a real wrestler. All right. So the Von Erichs were known. This was their signature move. They did a lot of drop kicks, but this one was special. Oh, okay. What's going on?
Oh,
Not sure. Okay, bouncing off the ropes.
Oh,
Carries on him.
was-
The dude's
What are
looking
they
crazy.
gonna do?
Oh, and they drop
Oh.
kick through him. Zac Efron
And
gave a
that
very
ends
supporting
that
cheer.
ends the match.
Yep, that was a KO right there. Kill shot.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Dude, David's looking ripped too. I mean, I'm
You-
sure
you
they get
said-
him all oiled up and stuff, but
You said you mentioned Logan Paul. If you look
Yeah.
up the third generation of the Von Erichs, if you look up Ross Von Erich,
so there was
Okay.
Lacey Von Erich.
he looks just like Logan Paul. Well, at least the wiki one does. This is a good one.
On the right, yeah.
On the- yeah.
Here, I'll show you. I'll share my screen. Present, share screen.
Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
All right.
That's some Logan Paul energy.
Yeah,
A little bit.
a more normal Witch.com Logan Paul. Yeah,
Yeah.
Walmart version.
He is? Yeah, that's the Walmart version?
I guess. I mean, I think he's
looks
less
better than Logan
jacked.
Paul.
And,
Oh.
I don't know about better.
Let's
Looks similar.
let's actually go to the worst. Let's do the worst. Let's talk about the worst thing that what drove these kids to madness. Yes, very descriptive title, Patrick. Just for clarity.
I didn't know you put that in the header.
Me either, really, but I gotta do it to be funny.
The worst neg. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so like what really put the sword into them, Most of these kids kill themselves. What was your worst take, Grant?
My worst take was when
I'm excited to hear
Carrie-
because I feel like you feel strongly about this,
Yeah, you really.
You
don't
were
like
you were
Fritz.
going yeah.
I was. Well, I
You didn't
I-
seem like his biggest
shit.
fan.
No, I mean he's not good. Well, I was just trying to defend, or Kevin defending his father. I think
You think
that
he's
doesn't mean
gaslit?
no, it's just still traumatic. He's still a piece of shit father. Like, yeah, you can still
Mhm.
forgive and love your dad, but he's caused
Tough.
pain, and if you
Yes.
didn't have that dad, there's definitely a role. Most parents don't have 3 suicides from their kids. And anyways, so I thought probably the most brutal was when Carrie had called Kevin, basically a cry for help, and Carrie wouldn't. Kevin was out of state, I guess, or not close. So Carrie was going home to his dad, and he was 33 at the time. And Kevin called his dad and was like, "You have to look out for him. He's not in a good place." And then this line was like used before, but he was like, "No, It's none of my business. That's between you two. You guys have to work it out on your own. You're like, you're a piece of shit. And then Carrie killed himself. And then he was like,
Womp.
he was like, I told you to take care of him.
You got some Ric Flair almost losing control with Kevin choking out Fritz. I kind of thought he was going to kill him.
That would have been a real tragedy if he killed his dad.
Yeah.
That would have been.
I thought he would. I mean, I would have forgiven him.
Well, it's not. I mean, I guess this is the debate. Like, it's not. The dad didn't kill Carrie. Yes, he should have done some things, but I don't.
Dude, you have a 33-year-old son.
Your dad.
Yeah, but you have your 33-year-old son is coming home after your other son says you need to look out for him. He's in a bad place, and he goes back to your house that you live in, and you don't do. And he then has the time to get a gun and kill himself. Like, you're a shitty fucking dad.
The dialogue that's written is not. It makes it very extreme, but it's not like people aren't going to jail. I gotta watch what I say. Are people going to jail for other people killing themselves?
No,
like it's not their.
It's not jail.
I'm just saying that Kevin shouldn't have killed. No. Shouldn't. You're like I would have killed the dad. Like
no,
I don't think you should kill the dad. You'd be extremely distraught and disappointed.
But you just said is you're conflating judicial punishment to what's right and wrong. Like, just because a society makes something illegal doesn't mean that's what is right and wrong. So yeah, it's not a crime to drive your children to suicide, but it's a fucking wrong thing to do. It's horrible. And to say that he couldn't have done a better job of parenting is like, I think that's
understatement.
I think the difference is like being complicit or like actively driving an action. I think in that last ending case, I mean, he's pretty hands off. Like, I'm not gonna do anything. I don't give a shit, which is a bad take. Not good.
Yeah.
But,
what's your point?
It's not as bad as adding fuel to the fire. I'm just saying it's messy because
I think. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, I think it's tough because it's like he has made their life so much around like what he wants, and they've like fully thrown them and fully committed themselves to like wrestling, which like, yeah, you get injured, you get on drugs, like you don't have a whole lot going.
Even when they've expressed interest in other things,
yeah,
they've kind of been forced into it.
Mm-hmm. And like, instead of saying like, oh, go back to college even though you didn't make the Olympics, like graduate college, do whatever you want. It's like, no, you gotta come back and wrestle.
Come in the ring.
Yeah. And it's like when it's like they've been like, if you don't give them that support after and you just like use them, I feel like you're very much active in there. Just downward spiral.
You can't play the active card to get what you want to do and then play the passive card when they need you. Like,
exactly.
Either you're active and then you're active, or you're passive and you don't give a fuck, you let them do whatever they want and you don't care. Yeah, I agree. That's a really good point.
I think the tough part is like we see probably the worst dramatic moments in a very condensed period, and then like real life parenthood is 20 years of like various things going on and different responses to different actions, and you're like, and then you justify it like, oh, I'm not an absent father, like, I'm really involved in these kids' lives, like we're a family, they're always eating dinner together, the bond is very strong. I think that quote was in there, like, people are very, very loyal, but to the detriment of everyone's health. So
Yeah, but I think, like my point earlier, that's the responsibility of the father, is so they understand that they can be loyal and take this seriously and not be a detriment to their mental and physical health, right? Like
but
that is a value that you should not be encouraging your children to push themselves to the point of mental illness where they're killing themselves. That nothing
well,
is worth.
that's where the logic, I think, falls off, where you're saying like that sort, because I think it just goes back to parenthood and like how, there's no right or wrong way to parent your kids, but you're saying you should do this, you shouldn't do
No.
that.
Let me. There is a wrong way, and ending up with 4 of your kids committing suicide. It's that you do take blame. That is, I don't think you walk away from that.
You're definitely
Parenting
involved.
scot free.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Society kind of stamps you with a, if you go to a, just meet some people, like share the fact that like 4 out of 6 of your kids committed suicide. Like people probably look at you like you're probably a bad person. Like
Yeah.
You're not. You're
And
involved.
unless it's something that it's like very genetic in terms of physical ailments.
I mean, but isn't it? Aren't we? I mean, is there any sort of
I mean, like in
predisposition to real depression or and feeling this sense of like hopelessness that led them to suicide? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the science behind that.
Yeah, I don't know either. But it feels like there were like these bad things that happened though for some of them.
Yeah, but it seemed like every single one stemmed from them not being successful in wrestling.
I
That
agree.
brought them to depression. If the foot, now he can't wrestle, so he's taking all these painkillers so he can wrestle. Then he gets addicted to pain. It's all wrestling because they've been instilled in this from day one that they're like following up with the career that Fritz wishes he had. He said, I need this belt in my fucking house. Like he is living. It's like when you meet those parents that are like, my kid's going to be a football star because they weren't, right. And they drive their kids, like you're living for yourself through your kids.
We'd have to go through each brother, I think, individually, because I think with the foot example, I mean, there's plenty of cases where you have someone that has been in a tragic accident. Maybe you become paralyzed or something, and that does end up leading to a form of depression and an eventual suicide. And I don't think the parents are involved.
But he's taking these painkillers so he can wrestle. Imagine having an amputated foot and then going in the ring. You know how fucking painful that would be with just a fucking a high top Converse boot? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, you're gonna take a whole boatload of painkillers before you get in the ring. Like they're being pushed. I mean, if you amputate your foot, you should not enter the ring. And they said he injured after the injury. They had to amputate it. I fact checked this during this podcast because he walked on it too soon. Why do you think he walked on it too soon? My educated guess is he needed to get in the fucking ring. Why? Like, dude, if you had any parent,
right? But at that point, you're an adult. I mean, what do you do with that? Like, you're making your own decisions. Like,
okay, but if your father is ranking the kids of how much love he gives you based on how good you are in wrestling, that's
your only skill, and you're really good at it,
dude. They're like, it's like a dog. They're like, he's trained these kids to think that wrestling is the only thing that they can get their father's love. The only time that they can feel that they're okay with themselves, like they feel that they're valued and they're worth and they're loved, is if they're good at wrestling. That is horrible parenting. You should be loved regardless of your skill. You are.
Mike had to wrestle after his brain injury. He went back to wrestling. Like that's fucked.
Fucked up.
No wonder he committed suicide. He's like, I can't do that again. Like,
and you're telling me that this guy is so involved. My father's so involved. There's no way he told them that they should. If he said you don't have to wrestle, they wouldn't. he's that involved. But he's telling them he wants
It's
to wrestle
definitely
again. Yeah, like
an unhealthy amount of drive being pushed.
yeah, he's
Um,
valuing his kids, and he's putting value on them from the beginning of them.
You think
them
this
as
is
kids.
you think this is a common? I mean, with any, I mean, all kind of top athletes.
Yeah,
I
potentially.
mean, is any amount of like superstardom healthy from a parenting aspect? Maybe not.
I think I think that's a good point because star athletes, you can't start it when you're like a consenting adult. Like it's
No,
too late.
it's like
It's too
LeBron's
late.
kid. You're
Yeah.
going the best. You're doing basketball for your
Yeah.
entire life,
Yeah, or like I think like a
and you
good
still don't
film.
make
I
it
don't
the
know. Did
star.
we all watch that film for this? Maybe was
Tennis one.
yeah, Serena Williams'
I know
dad.
I've
King
seen it
Richard.
Yeah, King Richard. We
I
watched
think we
it.
did it. Yeah.
Is that a
Yeah.
Quarter Life Critics?
Yeah, because Pat and I watched it together.
Mhm.
I think it might have been a. I think it might have been a GQ review with Patrick
Oh,
as our
no,
guest star.
is a pre QLC, but
Uh-huh.
he was a piece of shit too, right? And very focused on, but
So
it's,
I mean, I guess is it possible to not be a piece of shit
yeah.
parent and train a Olympic level athlete?
I think I think where I like fall off is once like when you're ranking, like it just didn't feel like there was a lot of love from Fritz, and the only time there was love was when it was related to like winning wrestling things and doing well, which is a
In the
very
story, sure,
toxic
yeah.
in the story, which is a very toxic right parenting style, because then your kids will conflate being good at wrestling. It's the only way they can be happy. But to that point, it's like, well, Kevin obviously, I mean, his family still wrestles, but he was able, like, obviously his family meant so much to him, because he has a large family. He had 4 kids and he has like 13 grandkids. So that was a happier ending, and
It was cute.
tragic story.
Yeah, it's family is wrestling. Wrestling is family.
Yeah, but also like kind of to your, you're trying to do a more nuanced take here, Quinn. But I obviously family had an impact, on Kev, that he wanted one himself. He's not like a recluse that's like, I'm just gonna, I would never want kids, like. But then again, maybe he wants to raise a family so he can do better than his dad. I don't know.
He seemed pretty simple. I think he's just hanging.
Oh, more ribs. I thought, I didn't know where the story was going. I thought it was gonna just be about him and David or something, and he's like the wrestler and David's the talker somehow. But didn't really happen.
Just a couple dudes.
Just a couple dudes. That's
Well,
us.
we're a couple dudes, and the movie was a couple dudes. So, how'd you guys feel like just watching some juiced up,
Dudes.
sweaty boys wrestling at each other, and then having all this sad shit happen? Did you guys cry? I cried a bunch. It was sad.
I did not cry.
Okay.
This is not one of my cry triggers. I got a couple of them in there that'll do it.
Yeah. Some buttons.
Some buttons that are pushed. Actually, dogs have been added to my new triggers. Now that I'm a
cute.
dog owner. I'd watch dog things before, and I didn't do it.
And I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck.
Now,
Fuck that dog.
Yeah,
now I see a dog. I start.
Now I see an Instagram post about a memorial for a dog, and I go, oh my God, dude. Where's the Kleenex? No. What did I have any closing thoughts? I thought, the finale ending Sad indeed. I'm in the peak of the sadness, but I don't know. What about you, Grant?
Yeah, I didn't cry, but it was very like bleak. I was very sad and just
He
like
said his girl
empty.
sit next to him.
I was just empty at
Men
the
don't
end.
cry.
Yeah. But
Not opposed to it. Yeah,
I think you can tell how like it
Grant was
definitely
pissed.
invoked a lot of emotion. Yeah, you're just like
Couldn't
fuck.
tell. Yeah.
Kate and I were like, you kill him, Kev, kill him. Like when he was trying to like,
Keep going.
yeah, we fucking hated him. So, but yeah, it was sad.
Did you
Very
like the
sad.
heaven scene?
And I think that was
was that a little sappy
It
for?
was sappy.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
thought
this is
it would be
this
like
is
a
lot.
little. I thought it would be like more. It didn't need to be there. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was just hugging. And,
Yeah. But I thought one thing that's very like just this film does a very good job, I think, at like brotherhood, just showing like how much love. It was so sad because really, and this might be why I've been passionate about it, but it feels like at the end of the day, the brothers, at least how the film portrayed them, they didn't need to wrestle. The only thing they really wanted was to be brothers. Like that's what it felt like. They just liked being brothers with each other and each other's company. And through this insane drive, like of having to wrestle, they lost the only thing that truly, like wrestling and about nothing matters. The only thing that really matters is their relationships and the relationships with their brothers. And they lost the only meaningful thing, and largely it seemed because of this fucking insane father who was obsessed with wrestling. If he was obsessed with family, I don't think it would have happened, right? Like it didn't.
There probably would have been a lot
say
more like
obsessed with family?
paintings.
If he was obsessed with family, yeah.
I mean,
if he was obsessed with just like,
I mean, I think you need an activity. I don't know how you become obsessed with family.
Just looking at each other.
It's just like you're my son. I love
I
you,
guess
son.
I think you can you can have family bonds, but know that like at the end of the day, like family is more important than wrestling. But I didn't feel that. I felt like wrestling was more important than family.
You're only in the family if you wrestle.
Yeah, you're like
or
disowned.
you're good. I mean,
no, they were like Mike wanted to be a fucking musician.
well, Carrie was the Olympian. I mean, or Olympian 2B.
I guess that's true.
And
Yeah.
I think Carrie was the favorite in the very beginning, according to Fritz.
Oh,
Winning. You gotta win to be
because
in
he
the
was
family.
a winner.
Mm-hmm. Olympics pretty hard to do. Yeah.
It is pretty tough.
that's
but
yeah.
I got that vibe from Kevin. I mean, they made it pretty obvious that he's, I think he says it. I just want to like be brothers or be out there with you guys. It was tough to get that what other brothers were thinking again because there's just so many things going on. You don't really get their perspective, and the movie's kind of based around Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only scene was like the bathroom one at the wedding, which was pretty nice. But then David dies. But I feel like that was a little bit of
We were getting there.
yeah. It was kind of like the Grim Reaper's coming for him. He had some emotional. You had an emotional connection with this character. Time for him to go, kind of deal.
There was a time lapse thing of like I think someone doing a shot. Was that David doing that? You guys think? Because he was.
Say that again.
There was some time lapse of someone doing a shot.
Oh,
I thought it was Carrie.
But I thought David died like right after, so I didn't know if it was Carrie or David because I don't think Carrie lost his foot yet, so I didn't know if.
Well, I think it was just showing they were on steroids and doing multiple things. Yeah. I think because it showed like.
That's when like
characters.
Carrie had switched over from discus to wrestling, so it was showing him.
Yeah, like, they were doing
he's got juice up now. I'm sure you get tested in the Olympics. You don't get tested in WWE.
Nope. And when you they were showing like a lot of the pills. When you take like the non-injectable steroids, your liver is fucked and your intestines are fucked, and like you can get internal bleeding. So it just goes right through your stomach lining. So like that kind of like maybe
Yeah,
it wasn't suicide.
There was no internet back then. How would you know how much to take?
You just fucking take out more because you
You,
want to
wherever
be
you buy it
stronger.
from.
Wherever you're
Yeah.
getting it from.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
tell you.
Really, no internet too. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you don't know what you're taking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, let's we've kind of been all over the place, but let's coming up on the hour. Let's wrap it up. Let's get to the how do we know if this thing's any good? What do you think, boys? What should we do?
I don't know. We
Could
should
be
come
like,
up with something.
like a thing.
Snappy.
Some other. It's called it the GPQ patented review, of course. Where we decide whether the true rating of the Ironclaw is over or under the IMDb rating. And we're sitting at a 7.6 with 73,000 votes, like we mentioned. Ooh.
That's a respectable score, boys. That's respectable, isn't it?
It was respectable.
Respect.
The people always know.
I'm like,
They
people-
never make us.
what
they never
does
make us
Rotten
easy.
Tomatoes have it at?
That's not part of the
89%. Oh, that's not what I think.
brother.
Ugh. I know what it's from.
All right. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Have you made your decisions?
You want to do we've never done it before, but maybe we could do a Roman style vote where we have a little
Say
countdown
aye or
and
nay?
then I don't like you go this or this and then we all do it at the same time. I just thought of this. I don't know if you guys like that.
I do, yeah. Let's do it.
All right. I'm
Do we,
gonna-
should we start like this? Do we start like this?
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. I'll get it in frame. This is why you should be watching on YouTube.
Quentin,
Live.
out of your
You're only
eyes.
oh yeah.
Oh, wait, are we in our eyes or under? Like
I'm
this?
just trying to not touch my mic.
Yeah, me too. You've got
Get it straight. Oh, do I need to move my thumb to the other side? No, I'm just gonna do this. But I'll figure.
It doesn't matter. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow, 2 overs, 1 under.
We need to make a sound effect. I didn't know that was part of it. Quinn said. The thumbs.
Speaking whale.
Woo!
More?
Did a little in it. So
Now we can.
I went
explain our
over.
thoughts.
Patrick
Yes.
went over. Quinn went under for our listeners out there. Well, I'll start. Just maybe we do the 2 overs and then Mr.
Weenie.
Can go over. I think it was very like a very well made film. It was like it didn't feel like the length it was. I never wanted it to be wrapped up. I felt like the acting was good and the writing was good, and it's like one of those like that's not a documentary, but you feel like you're like
insightful.
not wasting that much. You're like
You learned something.
yeah, I'm learning stuff. So, it's just a really interesting story, and it was sad and bleak, but well made. So, for those reasons, I'm going over.
Yeah, same. I thought very believable, good acting. They didn't take themselves too seriously, but also it was very serious. So a nice balancing, and then I felt like it was, hard to do a sad movie, so it's done well. And going over.
I went under. I thought Zac Efron did a great job. Really like watching him do whatever, act, hit people, be sad. Where it lost me, just turned in more into more of a under versus an over was just the multitude of things going on, and it felt hard to me what am I trying to say here? For
The ensemble
films,
didn't hit.
Yeah, the purpose or the overall message I felt was a little muddy, where you have a family, and you're kind of bringing to light a tragedy and just the incredible sadness of a family and what they've gone through, but also balancing it with like some sort of message that's could be artificial or fictional with Kevin and family. I didn't know if the film was about Kevin or if it's about the family
Or Fritz.
or Fritz.
The loaf.
They're throwing like even the wife is in there at the end where she's like, I'm painting. What are you gonna do about it? And you're like, that storyline was kind of lost for me. Just a lot of I think like I don't know. It's weird. I feel like it should resonate with me a lot. I have 3 younger brothers, and it's but it was more kind of in this wrestling world, which I don't play into that much. Because with your normal athlete story, you can see it. You can see the drive, and you just got that little inches to get better and better and better. But you're like, what the hell is going on here? In this
Quinn, it was just
scripted
child
world.
abuse.
Yeah.
It's like, why you gotta push so hard? It's fucking fake.
That's why they killed themselves. They're like, what am I pushing for?
My dad get on my ass, dude.
About fake wrestling, dude.
Why don't I just become a real athlete?
Yeah, damn. Harry had it easy. So it's I think it's worth a watch. Yeah.
7.6 is respectable.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Cool. All right. I think that wraps it up for Iron Claw. Glad you guys. It was fun.
You got
not
it.
fun.
You said you gave us the choice. You said
You said
3 words. All I heard was claw.
You said claw and the other 2. Yeah.
There was a lot of clawing. All right. What are we gonna do next?
I think the 3 words were it was claw, iron, and the. So whatever we picked would have been the iron claw.
No, I had a real one. I
know you did.
But they were suspiciously similar to this movie.
Yeah, it's like claw. Yeah.
I don't remember what the other one was though.
Well, then this is good.
Grant, I believe you had 2 options too. Are we gonna get some sort of context clue?
I have revoked the audience's ability to weigh in on this decision. It's going to be all me.
Dictator.
So for next week, in honor, well, not in honor, maybe in preparation for a sequel coming out in 2 days, one of my favorite films that I haven't watched in a long time.
2. Sorry.
Sam in the future. No.
We talk to my kids and figure out why I left them. Turns out I'm just like my mother. Huh?
Oh, this bomb's hitting.
Found her. They found me. Okay. No, that's not. It's not Sam now. It is a film. Speaking of tear jerkers, this film I cried twice. Both times I saw it in the theater. It is one of my favorite Pixar films to date. It is Inside Out. We're going to be watching Inside Out.
Ooh, the first one.
Okay.
And
we'll review that kind of in preparation for our viewers and maybe potentially.
Quinn will follow it up with Inside Out too.
See. Even if
right now, there's going to be a skit.
Regardless, I really like this film and I'm excited for Inside Out 2 to come out, which is coming out in 2 days. So we'll do everyone a favor and get everyone to do a little refresher. You know, on your own, you might be thinking, hey, I really would have liked to see Inside Out 1 before watching the second one.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
Grant's helping us out.
But you wouldn't have the drive alone to push it. But now that your favorite podcast is your favorite show is your favorite live show is reviewing Inside
Cartoon
Out. You have
Network.
no other choice.
Watch
you have
along.
to, you have to watch.
Quinn
along.
actually said that to me last week. Like Quinn
Yeah.
said that to me. He was looking for. He needs to watch Inside Out because
Inside Out.
Inside Out
Fun.
2 is coming out.
Have you? I guess really, really quick. Everyone's seen this. I'm assuming.
I've seen it a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't.
I've seen it
remember
as
what
well.
happens.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm excited for this, and we will see you guys next week with Inside Out. In the meantime, thank you all for listening. You can follow us on our social media. We have an Instagram, Quarter Life Critics. One word is our handle. And from there, you can click on the bio and see our YouTube live. That's kind of where we put on the show. So thank you all for listening. We will see you in 2 weeks' time with Pixar's Inside Out 1 and maybe 2. Thank you all for listening. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.